Hey everybody, welcome back to Gamescom. We're going to be talking about Disgaea 5 now. And Al, you're here to tell me about this game.
Yes, I am.
This is the 5th in the installment. Tell me, how does this follow up to the other 4 games?
Good question. Well, Disgaea was originally our head company, Nippon Ichi Software's kind of a final shot at greatness on PS2. And we've had 2 games come out on PS2, 3 so far on PS3, and this is our first one for PS4. And so we really wanted to give it our all to create this game.
Hey, you pumped this up a lot. I mean, just the older fans of the older games are going to remember, you know, you can only have like 10 characters on screen. You're sort of limited. You took everything good about this game and just made it bigger and more available. You've got new classes. Tell me, what are you guys most excited about adding?
Well, first and foremost, like you said, originally, even though it might not look spectacular, a lot goes into all the processing for like the enemy AI and things like that. So one of the things we really focused on during development was the fact that to get as many characters as possible. So for those of you who are familiar with the series, you might know that in the past, when you had only 10 characters, you know, it was kind of a small party, but now that you have so much more, it's a lot more fun, and it feels like, you know, you really are fighting a really super battle against all these like big monsters and stuff.
Yeah, you have to build yourself an army, and you want it to feel like a big army, and each character is also like so unique and diverse. What kind of availability as far as building out our party are we going to have now?
Well, there's 40 classes in total.
40?
Yeah, 5 of those are new. Obviously, you can still use recruit and use monsters like you used to be able to in the old games. In addition to that, you know, Disgaea is famous for like crazy grinding, crazy levels. You can level up anything and everything, so the sky's the limit when it comes to customization and things like that.
So this is fantastic. What are we looking at here? This is going to be your average moving around the dungeon?
Yeah, exactly. So this is a stage relatively early in the game. What's new to this game actually is that up until now you've heard about these beings called overlords, which are these really strong characters. And usually you're only limited to one or you're fighting against them, but in this game you actually get to get them in your party. So right now I just used 2 of those overlords right there, and they're just they have a lot of really cool special attacks, and their interactions are really fun too.
Now these are each overlords of special domains of hell, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah. In Disgaea parlance, it's called the Netherworld, and so it's a world like our own, but everything's twisted. So everything that would be good for us would be evil for them, and vice versa. So it's a game that doesn't really take itself too seriously, and that level of comedy and, you know, all that has been really ramped up.
Yeah, what familiar characters are we going to see? Like, well, you know, you have a lot of those adorable creatures, those little penguins. I mean, what's new and what's familiar?
Awesome. Yeah, so we definitely do have the printies. They're back. A lot of the monster classes are back. In terms of characters, actually, we do have some DLC that brings back some of the old characters from past games, but our president really wanted to make a conscious effort to make this, as it is for PS4, a new platform for us, to really kind of start from scratch and start from fresh. So all of the main story characters are unique and new to this game.
Great. Can you give us a little insight into the story?
Yeah, so we have right here, this is Kilia. He's the main character, and he's seeking revenge against a guy named Void Dark. And Void Dark is out to conquer all the Netherworlds, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. So Kilia's out there to stop him from that, and along the way he meets some interesting people like Magnus here, Red Magnus here.
And how does this sweet Bishonen hero convince all these people to join his party?
Well, because most of the characters you get, like Red Magnus, are also overlords. Their Netherworld has already fallen to Void Dark, and so they have a reason to want to join him. So they might not necessarily think of him as, you know, someone great or someone inspiring, but they know that he has the power maybe to beat Void Dark, so that's where they're behind him in that.
How did he get that power? How is he so strong?
That's something you have to play the game to find out.
Well, this is fantastic, and I do love this character art here. This is so kawaii, if I may, and these characters are all so extremely different. I mean, what kind of design goes into this? Is it a huge team?
Actually, it's one guy.
It's one guy?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
The character designer is a person named Takehito Harada, and he's been with the company, wow, since the earliest days. And like you said, his art is super unique. It's instantly recognizable, and it's definitely cute. In Japanese, they use a term called ero kawaii, which means like slightly erotic, but also cute at the same time. And so a lot of the characters, like who the zombie major just got owned right now, Serafina right there, she's kind of like that too. So she's, you know, this voluptuous girl, but she's also really, really cute.
Well, what and I do have to appreciate about this game is you have the ero kawaii, but you also have the Bishonen, and you have these extremely handsome dudes here. So, well, they're something for everybody, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
What has been your favorite part about this game? Because you've had a lot of hands-on experience with this.
Yeah, I think my favorite part so far working with this game is just the fact that because it's so much bigger and so much prettier, you know, after, gosh, 5 games plus in the series, you know, when you're showing this to people, they're kind of like, oh yeah, Disgaea. But because this is on PS4 and it's just, even though it's sprites and looks so pretty and animates so well, people's eyes light up. Yeah. And they're like, wow, this isn't what I'm used to. What is this? And just seeing that over and over again, even though, you know, I might be doing the same presentation, just seeing their enthusiasm really gets me happy.
Well, it's an exciting game. It's something that I think a lot of people are coming back to. There are a lot of tactics games that were extremely popular, and there was no one to fill that void for a long time. So a greatly positioned game, and you brought a lot of the old Disgaea stuff back, made it bigger, make it better. What else is brand new to Disgaea 5?
Something else that's brand new, I'm totally getting rocked here, is something called the revenge system. So, as I told you before, Killia, the main character, he's out for revenge against Void Dark. And so to incorporate that theme of revenge into the combat, actually, if you look at the left side of the screen, there's an R on the bottom left next to the character's portrait. Okay. So when your allies or you take damage, that bar will fill, and that's called the revenge meter. And when it reaches the top, you have access to special attacks, your stats are increased, you can use your special moves for cheaper and things like that. So that's something brand new to the game, and that adds a brand new level of strategy and strategizing to it.
So how many different alliances are available to make? I mean, are you good or bad, or are there lots of different factions at play here?
There's essentially just you versus Void Dark, even though the people who are on your team maybe used to be part of, you know, a different world or maybe against you originally. They, because they all have a common enemy, there's just kind of like you and them.
This is fantastic. I do like this revenge system where it seems like at a certain level you just get so pissed off that you're doing way more damage. And there are a couple other main characters. Tell me about him.
Sure. So we have one named Seraphine. She's the girl that I pointed to earlier in the pink, right there with the gun. She's the overlord of a world called Gorgeous, and so her whole gimmick and her whole thing is that, you know, she's supposed to be irresistible to men. So when it comes to most of the standard mobs that you meet in the game, it's like that. But our main character and all the other guys they're just not having it.
They're immune?
Yeah.
What about these slime skulls? Are they super in love with her?
Super in love with her.
Wow. And how does that manifest in the game? Like, so are they less raged at her? They have a lower revenge meter, or what is the AI essentially for the enemy?
That was a perfect question. So the enemy is essentially just programmed attack, you know, who's weakened and things like that. But on the other side of the coin, her overload skill, which is unique to overlords when they get that revenge meter full, is that all of the male enemies within 3 squares of her are charmed by her. So for the next 3 turns, they essentially fight on your side.
That's fantastic, and that's a really interesting mechanic. I mean, this game is so much about positioning, so much about where the characters go and stand. What other things are we going to have to think about? What other mechanics are there that affect areas?
It's not present here on this map, but something that's kind of familiar to longtime players of the series are these things called geo-blocks. And it's a little bit hard to describe without seeing it, and I apologize for it not being on there. But there's different areas of the map that when you place a certain block on there, it will get a new effect. So for example, enemies have 50% HP or 50% attack. So you actually have to pay attention to that when you're playing, because if the enemy's on a block like that and they're just wrecking you, then you need to, you know, find out what's happening, get that block moved around so that you can, you know, go back and fight.
Interesting. So what is overall, you think, going to attract new players to this game?
I think probably the fact that, like you said, these days, even though there might be some strategy RPGs that are out and about, I don't think anyone does it quite like Disgaea. It's got that really cool blend of humor, of over-the-topness. The art style is unique, and you can play this practically forever.
That's fantastic. You did mention the grind is super rewarding in this game, and I'm inclined to agree. Where can fans keep up with you and wait until this comes out?
They can keep up with us on Twitter, on Facebook, on our homepage. This comes out October the 6th in North America and October the 9th here in Europe.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. We got lots more coming to you from Gamescom today and all week long. Don't go anywhere.